Hi, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about food. Well, what I want to talk about is eating food and why bother and that kind of thing, and the quality of presence that's important to bring to the eating event. You know, when you eat food, your body breaks it down, and at some other video I'll spend some time talking about just exactly how your digestive tract works, and that's a fun talk. But what I want to talk about is that when you eat food, your body breaks it down, and nothing really gets of value to you about that food until your body takes it into the cells and breaks these molecules apart and liberates electrons or electricity. And then your body has a molecule that's like a battery, and it charges that battery, and it takes that electrical energy over to another part of the cell where it makes things. It makes hair, it makes hormones, it makes fingernails and bones and all kinds of stuff, and enzymes. And that's how your body essentially gets energy. It has to take molecules into the cells, it has to rip open these molecules, and then it has to transmit that energy to another part of the cell where the cell does work. So how do you get this energy? Well, in order to get this energy, you have to eat food, obviously. So eating food becomes a method by which you can support your body's functions. Now, what you need to know about your body is that your body has absolutely no secrets from itself. There's no emotion, there's no thought, there's no sensation or perception or feeling or memory or aspiration that doesn't register in your body as a biochemical event or neurological event. So everything is always there for you. Even though you may keep a secret from yourself, you think, it's never really a secret. It's always present. Now, the thing to think about is that the food that you eat grew. It came from something. It came from a plant. It came from an animal. It came from something. And as a result of that, it has in fact sacrificed its life for you to use, to build yours. And I think this is a moment in time that takes a little bit of reflection and takes some respect. And so what I want to talk about is I want to talk about a quality of presence that you can bring to your meals and to your eating that will actually make a difference in how well you process that food. So you think about it, that the sun grows the food grows in the ground. The food has to be processed, it has to be taken, maybe taken to a factory. There are people that transport this food. It's an entity that lives. And as you then take that food into yourself, you're taking all those events, you're taking all that stuff that goes into making that food, and you're using it to build yourself. And of course, we all want to build ourselves, to dedicate ourselves to some high purpose, however we relate to that. So the presence of mind that you can bring to your meal is critical, because if you can get yourself into a space where, well, what happens is most of us use something called grace, don't we? In traditional ceremonies, we have food and we have grace. We sit for a moment. We give thanks for the fact that we have food to eat. And that presence puts us in a state where our body is ready to receive. Our digestive processes work better. And we're in a state where the food actually goes in and has some function. So sometimes, we get so busy that we don't have time to eat. And imagine how crazy that really sounds, we don't have time to eat. That we're so busy on a task that we think we don't have time in our day to take care of ourselves and to feed our bodies. And in a land that we live in ourselves, where there are no secrets, you understand that's not a great communication to ourselves. Our cells get very confused about that. It helps if you think about yourselves as trillions and trillions of servants that are there for you all the time in your body. So the notion that we don't have time to eat is silly. And we need to sort of get over that, because we always have time to eat. It just means that we have to create that time. Now, if you can put yourself in a space where every time you're about to eat, you stop and you recognize this chain of events that happens, that you take food into your body, and that food that comes before you in a meal has been prepared, it has been grown, something sacrificed its life for you. And that's a wonderful thing, because you take that into yourself and you dedicate yourself to some high purpose of yours. And so that food substance has an opportunity to be part of something greater, which you are. And that state of mind causes the digestive tract to work better. It causes the cells to work better. It causes an integration inside of you that in fact will enable you to select one, better food for yourself. Because you start thinking this way and you're going to ask yourself, how could I eat better? How could I take better care of myself? Now, a lot of times if you talk to people about different foods, you'll see that their faces change when they talk about it. You talk to me, for example, about breakfast, you're always going to see me smiling because I love breakfast. I just look forward to breakfast all the time. And that anticipation and that thrill about having some food for breakfast sets my body in a state where it's ready to receive. Now, sometimes we use food for different kinds of purposes. Sometimes I use food because I'm uncomfortable with how I'm feeling emotionally. And if I have food, it'll just sort of dull me out a little bit, kind of like food drunk in a way. That, it happens. You use food to numb your senses. And so it is important to be aware of how we use food and to bring some consciousness to that so that on the whole, we bring respect and grace to our meals. And as a result, our bodies work better.